Hey parents. So last night we wrapped up our series, The Story. And really, at its core, what this series has been all about is simply the gospel, the story of God and his people. And so we've seen how we were made by God, and we were made by God for a relationship with him and to work alongside of him to make this world a better place. That was our purpose. But the problem is, sin has broken that. The sin of others and our sin has caused brokenness. Now, that's where we find ourselves living in hurt and pain. We see all kinds of brokenness around us. We see suffering, we see wars, we see people sick and people dying. And we experience brokenness ourselves in relationships and just in the things that we experience in life. Brokenness is a part of our reality. And we've talked about how there are all kinds of things that we do to try to get out of that brokenness. We chase after success or entertainment or whatever that might be. We take these things that in and of themselves are not bad and we make them ultimate things, trying to find something that we can only find in God. But fortunately for us, this is where Jesus enters the story. And through his life, his death, and his resurrection, he makes it possible that we might get back to that life that God has made us for, life with him. And so, as we wrapped up this series last night, we talked about how God has called us not just to live in this story ourselves, but also to invite others into this story. But the thing is, I think when we start talking about this idea of sharing our faith, it makes a lot of us, and myself included, kind of nervous because we think we have to have all the right things to say. Or we think this means like we have to just go up to a stranger cold and start telling them about Jesus. And maybe there's a time and place for that. But I think by and large, what it means for us to invite other people into this story means that we ourselves have to live out the gospel. We allow Jesus to do the work inside of us to shape us and to transform us into people who look more like him. So that the people around us, our friends and our family, they see Jesus through us. I think that's really where it all starts. And then, yes, we need to be ready to open our mouths and to share what it is we believe, to share why we're different. But one thing we talked about last night is that we don't have to have all the perfect things to say because it's not our job to save somebody. That's the work that only God can do. But what we're really called to do is simply to tell people how God is working in our lives, how we've seen Jesus changing our lives. And hopefully, when we think about it that way, it makes it a little easier for us to invite other people into this story. And so I want to encourage you this week to have a conversation with your students about who the people in their lives are that might need to know Jesus and just begin to think about what might they be able to do to show them the love of Jesus. And again, that doesn't mean that they're going to have to go up to them this week and just start telling them about Jesus. But maybe what it means is that they simply start praying for opportunities, and you guys as a family start praying together for opportunities to share the love of Jesus with these people. And then, yes, eventually maybe there comes an opportunity for a conversation that leads to something deeper. But it begins with simply loving people as Jesus has loved us. So that's it for this week. That's it for this series. We'll see you guys next week.